Brilliant. So welcome everybody. Integration Monday episode. I think this is now 151, Lex, if I'm right.
Exactly, yeah.
So hope everybody's doing well and everybody's sort of keeping healthy and everything with all the stuff that's going on. Tonight we're joined by three gentlemen from Portugal who are all in Porto, and we've got Sandro, who everybody's known for years. Most people on the call will know Sandro already, but Ricardo and Rui are both colleagues of Sandro's, and the guys offered to do a combined session. So they've been doing some interesting stuff with Power Platform, and they offered to sort of co-present and talk to us about some of the things that they've been doing. So before I hand over to the guys, and I'll let them introduce themselves in a bit more detail, just a quick little bit of sort of admin to get out of the way. So if anybody's new to Integration Monday, so maybe you just found us with one of our LinkedIn posts or Twitter posts about the session tonight. So Integration Monday is on most Monday nights at about 7:30 p.m. UK time. We talk about integration topics. So tonight's covering Power Platform, but often we'll cover other topics like architecture, Azure integration services, and things like that. The upcoming events. So after the last session, there was a lot of people who Nino brought up the topic of Terraform, and some people asked if I would talk about some of the stuff I've done with Terraform and Azure. So that's going to be next week. The week after, we've got an Azure Data Factory session, and then Sandro's going to be back at the end of the month to talk about tips and tricks with Logic Apps. So we've got some really good sessions over the coming weeks. So hopefully, at least on a Monday night, everybody's not going to be bored silly. Integrate 2020, so we're about a month away, Lex, I think, aren't we? Start of June. So we've got Integrate Summit this year is going to be online, and we've got 3 days of content covering all sorts of different areas of integration. We've got loads of the product team people from Microsoft who are going to be doing sessions, and because it's online, the tickets are really cheap compared to what they would be for the in-person event. So check that out. The link's on below, so we'd love to see you guys all at that. Quick shout out for our sponsors. So Kovi provide the platform and the funding to help us run the user group. So we'd just like to make you aware of a couple of products that they run, so that if you're a BizTalk company, there's a software to help manage your BizTalk platform, and if you're using Azure in the cloud, Serverless 360 can help you there, so check those out. At this point, I'll hand over to the guys, and look forward to hearing what you guys talk about. For questions, I'll just keep an eye on the Q&A chat, and then we'll just let you all present, and then at the end we'll go through the questions, and I'll just ask them on behalf of the audience. And if anything pops up during it that anyone's having problems or whatever, I might just jump in, but otherwise just feel free to go at your own flow, but let me know if there's anything you need a hand with or anything. Who would you guys like me to pass over to first?
It's to me, Mike. So today is May the 4th, and if you are a geek like me and you are Star Wars fans, you will enjoy this day. And today I bring some of my best Jedis in DevScope to join me on this call and speak about PowerApps. So Ricardo Calejo is our Portal Teams Manager and SharePoint Architect. He's responsible for the consultant team at DevScope, and he's a father of 2 small twins. So, and be aware, guys, that we are 3 presenters in 3 different houses, and in the total of 7 kids. So if you see some noise, you already are aware. It's our kids entering the room. So you have the contacts of Calejo there. The slides will be available online. So if you have some questions about Office 365, SharePoint, please send an email to Ricardo. Another is Rui Romano. He's the responsible guy of Power BI, the head of this area of expertise at DevScope. is also a Microsoft MVP data platform. And he will be speaking some amazing tips about Power BI, connecting with all of these other pieces of Power Platform. And you all already know me. I'm being here several times at this Integration Monday. I will be speaking a little about Power Automate, but I will deliver all the sessions to my teammates for them to speak different technologies, because most of you already know Power Automate, flows, and so on. So I will not go deep dive on that topics. And just this will be a very practical session with a lot of demos and real case scenarios. But just for you to have an overview, Power Platform now is composed by 4 products: PowerApps, Power BI, Power Automate, that was the flow earlier days, because there was the only child that doesn't have Power on the name. They changed the name to Power Automate, but in reality they are flows. And now earlier this year or end of last year, they released Power Virtual Agents. Okay, just a quick overview about these different technologies. PowerApps is just for you to easy and in a fast way produce business apps across several platforms. Okay, you can build your solution for mobile. You don't need to be a developer. It's quite easy and a easy interface. You have a lot of templates already built that you can use and reuse to create your apps. Again, it doesn't need a developer because you don't need really to write code most of the times. Is more or less an Excel experience. If you never use it, go there and test it. And you can publish anywhere. You can use a web, Surface, Android, iPhone, whatever, okay? It runs everywhere. Again, easy to start, go powerapps.com. There are a lot of templates, a lot of tutorials. Again, I don't want to bother with you guys with some of these topics or deep dive on these topics, because most of them already been spoken here in the past. So it's more or less the same. Again, Power Automate, aka Flow, is for you to create workflows and easily integrate your systems. Again, for a non-developer people, you get notifications, synchronization files, collect data, automate approvals with SharePoint, and so on. You have buttons. You can monitor activities, push notifications. Again, you can connect several systems in an easy and fast way. And they are equivalent to Logic Apps also. So it's a good way for you to start building your automations. Again, easy, Flow, Microsoft.com, go there. A lot of templates there, a lot of material that you can easily learn. Go there and try it. The new kid on the block is Power Virtual Agents. Basically, is for you to extend chatbots with Azure Bot Service and create bots in a fast and easy way. Okay. Power Virtual Agents, Microsoft.com. Again, there are a lot of tutorials there, and you can start looking to some of these capabilities. And the last is Power BI, but because I have the Power BI expert here, I will let Rui Romano speak better on that topic. Rui?
Okay, thank you, Sandro. Hope you guys are all okay, and good afternoon. Very excited to be here. So Power BI is, you can think more as a platform, and it's a platform where you can put your data. That can be any way, anywhere, any kind of data. It's known as a platform of the 3 N's, and it will basically it will help you in the process to transform the data into useful information. It's less nowadays less than a product and more as a platform what you can do and integrate with all the aspects of this Power Platform. And the goal of my session is of this session to show you that, is to show you how you can leverage, for example, the Power BI experience where you can build interactive dashboards, and then, for example, use Power Automate to show in the same dashboard real-time data that will come from a database, for example. And can you jump one slide, Sandro? And to get started, the place where you need to go is just to go to powerbi.com. One of the amazing things about this platform, about Power BI, is literally the community. You can find everything online. It has an amazing home site where you can have guided learning there. So you just go to powerbi.com and you log in. Another thing that is very important about the Power BI workflow, can you just one more click, Sandro, please? Is this Power BI desktop. And the Power BI desktop is free, is 100% free. So you can just download it, use it. It's very, very powerful. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. You can play with 50 million records. You can use it to move data and do some kind of one-shot ETL if you want. But the most straightforward workflow and the default is you just connect to the data. You build these powerful data models where you relate data from multiple data sources. You build stunning dashboards, and in the end, you publish and you collaborate. Of course, to publish and to collaborate, you need a license for it. But the desktop tool is 100% free. Sandro, maybe it's best for you. Can I share my screen now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Make you a presenter.
Okay, show my screen. You are all seeing my screen now?
Yep.
So, okay. So this is my Power BI. This is a Power BI dashboard. I'm showing a workspace in my Power BI tenant. And normally, Power BI has the dashboard is a collection of tiles from the report. So if I click in one of these tiles, it will open a report that the user can slice and dice over the data, very interactive. And normally, and this is not 100% true, but normally Power BI will connect to the data 1 time or 8 times per day. It will get the data to the Power BI database that is hosted online, but this is not real time. So normally there is a way. Basically, Power BI has 2 flavors: direct query and import mode. This is normally we do in import, where we push all the data, but this is not real time. But there is a when I'm implementing a Power BI project in a customer, there is this request. Say, okay, this sales amount KPI is the sales for the previous day, or it was refreshed 4 hours ago, for example. But they wanted to show the sales in real time. And to do this, there is a very easy solution for you to do this, and it's very powerful because it will allow me to see, okay, this is my sales amount until last day, but this is the actual value that is selling selling by the hour or by the minute. And to do that, you can make use of Power Automate. I will just share the architecture before showing the demo. So what you can do is you can build a Power Automate that will query a SQL database or any other data source that is supported, and then it will send the real-time data to the dashboard. And to do that, you need to create a special type of data set in Power BI called streaming data sets. And I will show you how to do it, and then I will show the end result. So to create a streaming data set, you just open the workspace. You have this option, New, Streaming Data Set. You select API. You just type a name. It's called Test. And you provide the fields of this streaming data set. For example, location and sales. Let's put this as a number. You create it, and what it does is it will give you an URL. It's a push URL it's an anonymous URL that you can just send data to it. You need to send data at this layout or this payload, and it will even give you a sample code that you can copy to a PowerShell code, for example, and you can call it just to test it out. So after you create this streaming data set, you go to the dashboard. Actually, not this one, this one. And then you have this option of add a tile, and you select custom streaming. You select that data set. And this is important because for the other demo, you don't have much configuration in here. So Power BI is very, it's well known by amazing visuals with a lot of visual types. But in this case, you just have 5 options to show the data. I select the card, apply, and now I can go back to the PowerShell. Let's change this to run, and it will show, but it shows by the second in here. It's very smooth. Now, I will show you one that was pre-built. So in this case, I created for this demo a streaming data set called WWY streaming. And this has the same API, it has the same code, the same thing. Now, I created a flow. I won't go in much detail on this, but it's a flow. It's a very simple flow that will do 2 things. First, it's a manual trigger because it's just for a demo. Because every time I show this, I forgot to turn the flow off, and this is consuming Azure resources, and this is paid by the hour. So I don't want to forget to leave this on. But this is a manual just for the demo. Normally, you would use a recurrence, a schedule that will run every minute. And the second action is, okay, I want to do a query over my database. And if I go to the database and try this query, you'll see it's a very simple query that just returns the actual sales that are happening on my database. This could be connecting to the transactional database, for example, and it's always returning different values. So it will execute the query, and the final step would be to HTTP call to that URL of the streaming API, that URL that I just showed you in the API information with that payload. I could optimize this even further. For example, do a compose that will aggregate this in just one call. Now, if I run this flow, the amazing thing about this is now I have a dashboard with real-time and import data. So if I run it again, okay, you will see this changing. So this is very powerful and very easy to put on a splash screen, a dashboard showing data that comes in import mode from the database, like a 50 million record database, and showing very easily in the same dashboard data sales that are happening by the minute. Now, what's the problem? So, and this is very simple. And if this is good enough, you should go for it. You shouldn't do what I'm going to show next. Now, but like I said, this is very limited because you don't have any way to customize this dashboard. So I can change this for another chart, but I'm limited to these ones. What I wanted to do is I wanted to build another charts or another visuals, much more visual, much more interesting, like these ones. I wanted to show the cells in the map in real time. How do you do it? Now, you have, for that, you need to create a special type of data set called the push data set. And to do that, to create a push data set, you have two options. Option one, that I don't recommend, by the way, is you can go to the streaming data set that is in here. You edit that streaming data set and you activate this checkbox, history data analysis. You can do it. Why I don't recommend, and this will actually create a push data set for you. And the push data set is the same kind of data set that exists in Power BI with the same features. You can create reports over it. In the end, I will share a link. You have where it illustrates the differences between the push and the streaming data sets. But the biggest difference is that the push data set, it will store the data, and the push data set allows you to create reports and create any kind of Power BI report over this data. And this is what I want, because I want to create a much more powerful report. So to create a push data set, what you need to do is you need to use a REST API. So Power BI has a REST API that you can use. And one of the methods of that REST API is to create a push data set. And you need to use that REST API. It uses OAuth to authenticate. You can use your own Power BI account. And to create a data set, you just need to call this API, do a post, and in the body, you will send the body, the JSON of this data set. Now, the problem is that you need to know what you need to put in here. And this could be challenging if you are new to Power BI or if you struggle in programming language, for example. Now, a simple way for you to do it is you just go to Power BI Desktop. I already have one in here. I call it push WWY, and you just put data in here as a sample data of the data set that you want to build. So in this case, I created two tables, the sales, and the sales just has just copy pasted the data of my sales. This is actually it has the same columns of my view, of the real-time view, and I've done the same for the customer. So in my customer, and by the way, I'm at the Power BI Desktop application. I've done the same thing. And using Power BI Desktop, I built my model. So one of the things that you do normally in Power BI is that if I have a customer table, I can relate my customer table to my sales table. When I do that, I instantly have a way to aggregate data from sales with attributes from customers. Another thing that I can do in Power BI Desktop is saying, okay, I have this field that is a location, and I want to say to Power BI that this is a geographic field. So I click it on the location, I put the data category as a state or province. And also I created some measures, another very powerful thing in Power BI that allows me to, so I have two measures. One that is just aggregating the column of total sales, and we have another one that is slightly more complex that will do a running total. So this is to do something like this. I want to accumulate the sales over the time. And I created this in Power BI Desktop, and then I go to PowerShell, and I have a script that it will use an open source module that I created called Power BI PS. That is basically a wrapper over that REST API. So you don't need to know which method to call. You just need, it has a commandlet for each operation. And this script will do two things. It will create the push data set for me, but instead of creating the push data set using where you would specify the tables, the columns, the measures, the relationships between the columns, it will do a much easier approach. It will use a special command, let's call get PBI dataset from Power BI desktop. So I need to have the Power BI desktop opened, and this will infer, it will get from the Power BI desktop the JSON file that needs to send to the REST API. So this commandlet will get basically this a variable with these values in it, and it will call the REST API in Power BI to check if the dataset exists. If the dataset exists, it will create. If it doesn't exist, it will create a dataset. If it exists, it will update the tables of the datasets. That's another characteristic of the push datasets. You can change it dynamically using code. And after that, it will pre-populate the table customers, because the table customers, the flow won't get the customers. So the customers will it will read the customers from a CSV file. It will add the customers data to the push data set, and it will clear the sales, because it's just for this demo. I just want to make it start from 0. So if I run this, so this is actually changing the data set online. So I have, if I go, sorry, not this one. If I go to the workspace, I will have a push data set in here, WWY push data set, just to show you. So if I change this to push data set 2 and run it again, this will create a new data set in here. So it's new with the same columns. And now I'm able to just click and select create report, and that table, those two tables that I created are in here. So if I go to Power BI desktop, for example, and if I change or create a new measure, integration Monday equal 5, I save this, and if I run the script again, this will create the data, it will update the data set for me. Or no, not this one. I changed it to push data set 2, so this one. So the new measure, it's in here, and it will have the value 5. So this is, you can make it very dynamically between programming and changing the model in Power BI desktop, and then creating the push data set. Now, after you create the push data set, I created a report. I already have a report in here, a Power BI report that, let me just add it to show you. So the report is blank because the push data set now doesn't have any data, because I just cleaned the table. So this, it has a bar chart. You can use any kind of Power BI visual that is available, and also from the marketplace if it is not available. You can select the map, put the location, because the location is actually a geographic field. So you can build using, so you are not limited by the streaming dataset limitations for the visuals. So you create the dashboard, the report, and now you need to select this pin to the dashboard. So I want to pin this. I would select that dashboard, and I would pin the visuals that I want from my dataset. Now let's go back to the streaming dataset. So in here, these are the streaming tiles. You can see that it has a lightning bolt, and in the right, it has the same. It has the pins from my report. Now, how do I send data to the push dataset? It's the same way. You can use Power Automate. I have another one in here called push, but this one, it has only a difference. It's the same flow, or as the one that I just showed you, but this one, It doesn't do HTTP post request. It will use an activity from Power Automate called add rows to a dataset. You need to have access to the workspace and to the push dataset. It will show you the actual fields of the table that you select. So I selected the sales table and I mapped each field from my view to the dataset. And now if I run this, you will see that it will show automatically without changing the data. So I could have this running every minute. Let's run again. And the same way that I've done with the streaming data set, showing real-time data in my dashboard using the push data set, with the advantage with no longer being limited to those specific visuals of the streaming. You can create measures, you can create tables with the relationships. It's much more powerful. But you can see a difference that in here, it's by 2 seconds. In here is by the second. So this is much more smoother than this one. But this is a much more flexible and even powerful way for you to do real time in Power BI with a Power BI dashboard using Power Automate. Now, I just want you to make another demo, and then Sandro will explain the Power Apps, how you can create these Power Apps. So another very powerful integration of Power BI with the Power Platform is the Power Apps integration. And in this case, you can build a Power BI report or data set that will import data from the SQL database. Let's say a retail Power BI implementation where you have 50 million records, and then there is a need to have a budgeting experience in that Power BI. So this is the Power BI, and the idea is, okay, I have all the sales for this Power BI where I can see the sales per employee. But what I wanted to do is I want to be able to see, for example, for Amy, okay, Amy, this is the sales trend for Amy. I can even do a forecast in Power BI to show me the future, the predicted sales for Amy. And I also have this target, but the target is not in import mode, but the target is using a table in Power BI called sales employee targets. And this table is direct query the database. So the storage mode is direct query. So Power BI does it every time I open this report, it will, and I have a visual with a field for this table, it will do a SQL query to the database. But this table is in import. And what I can do with it, this is called a technique in Power BI called composite models, where I can mix 2 tables, one in import with another in direct query. What I can do now is I can do a very interesting thing. Is I have a dashboard. I can, okay, I select on Amy. I see that it's performing well over the target. I can see from the forecast that she's performing well, and probably it will go okay for her. And then I have a Power App in here that will write and update the table on the database. And so this is not Power BI, this is the Power App that Sandro will show. And if I change the budget, let's say to 4 million, because she will go very well, you will see that Power App will change the report dynamically in real time. And in this way, I can write back to the database and have the Power BI with the instant information, very, very smoothly exploration of the data, but actually changing data on the database and see that change reflected on the Power BI report. So, and this is another amazing example of what you can do with this Power Platform. I just want to say another thing about this Power Platform and Power BI. So Power BI, and this is one of the most cool things about Power Platform and Power BI is if you see one of these solutions alone, for example, Power BI, you could probably is not the best tool to create reports. You have another solutions that if you only evaluate the ability to create dashboards, maybe there are better solutions in it. And if you evaluate a solution to do automation, you have better solutions as a standalone application. But if you look at as a whole, so if you leverage all these things together, this is where you can get a lot of the advantages in using Power BI and Power Platform and integrating all of this stuff together. Sandro, can you?
Yes.
I will pass to you to show the Power App.
I will make present it. Okay, you are seeing the Power BI, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Comani already explained the demo. I'm just going to explain the most important step of the Power App. I will not create it from scratch. I think this is not the concept to this session. This is just to highlight the importance and the key points of this, how you do that. So if you think about Power Apps, you go to another portal. No? You go to Power Apps portal, and if you try to navigate with the same, so this Power App is actually this one. Okay, it's create inside your Power Apps portal inside in your environment. But if you try to navigate to this app from here, you will see this, an empty app, okay? Because it doesn't have the context that needs to have from Power BI. Because you know that if you select Amy, like Romano did, these are filter. This has the context of the power of your Power BI dashboard, okay? And the same, you will not create this kind of apps from the portal app, okay? Because Power Apps, you create an application with data, with live data. That's the funny of using these Power Apps, that you connect to a system, SQL, SharePoint, whatever. It has data, and you can start building your app from the data. No, so the data is inside your Power BI. So you need to create from here your app. So if you go to Edit, and you see there is a visual, that is Power Apps for Power BI. If you don't find it here, you go to Marketplace, have it, and you have there. So it's just selecting, and you see that a new window is created. You just then select what kind of tables you want to use, and create. Okay, this will create a Power App for you that has the context of the Power BI. Okay, let me give you just a second while it's creating. It can take a few seconds, but again, you will have your table and the context of your table here, and you have this Power BI integration context, okay? And this actually it will create all of these lists based on the data that comes with your Power BI, okay? Let me just delete this one. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use this one, okay? And the same, you can go here on edit mode, you can go here and edit your Power App. And it will jump for PowerApps portal, and it will edit your Power App that you already have there. Okay, you just close this stuff because I'm not using it here. And take some seconds to load it, and you have the context that already came from your Power BI. Now, important stuff that you need to be aware of it. So what we want to do, let me go back to the report, is change the SQL to change these metadata that was here. Okay, so the first list that appears here is in fact the Power BI data, and I didn't want that. So again, I have to insert some data source, and in my case was the employees and sales target databases. And what I'm doing here is filtering these tables by the data of the employee that comes along in context or on the Power BI. And you may have the persons, or you may have the here, or both of them. I'm using both of them to filter these list here. Okay. And again, if you are familiar with Power Apps, you need to create your screens, edit, the show details and the edit. If I'm going to the edit here, okay, you have the sales, the save button. And here is also one important step that you need to be aware is that when Romano clicks save, he automatically refresh the dashboard. Okay, so the value that was here that I probably deleted mistakenly, it refresh automatically. And the trick here is when you submit the form, and again this form is bind to a SQL database, I'm updating the value on the SQL side, and I'm telling Power BI to refresh the dashboard, and it goes to do a direct query to the database and present the correct data already updated on the Power BI side. And basically that's the key stuff that you need to be aware. So Power BI integration as the context of your Power BI that you are associating. All the data in the context are in this object. You may need to add additional sources to create these kind of apps, depending in your scenario. You need to filter that by the context of the Power BI, and if you want to refresh automatically, you need to add this instruction. The rest is PowerApps natively running and do its job. Okay. So again, I will not take too much time on that. This is PowerApps. The important stuff was there, and I will make Ricardo Coelho the presenter because he has a really cool and a real scenario that you want to show. Okay, Coelho, are you ready?
Yes, go ahead.
You are the presenter.
Okay, guys, so when you see my screen, just tell me, okay?
Yes, you are. I'm seeing your screen, a blue screen, and I'm now the slides.
Okay, guys, so it's an honor to be here. And first of all, thank you for the invite, Sandro and Rui and the other guys. I'm here to talk about at least a not so typical business case that we did for the situation that we're living in. That is a tracking center for here an hospital here in Portugal, in Porto. So they came to us with a challenge. Sorry, I have to close this. Okay. They came to us with the challenges that was to track patients, that they built a tent in order to get more people to do the exam. So as you probably may know, there is a lot of search for testing all over the world. So the Centro Hospitalar de Gaia and the director of infectiology, Tiago Teixeira, created a tent in order to have more patients coming in and do the test. So, but well, they had to face a problem, and the problem was that they were tracking the patients by paper. Okay, so he asked us for help, and we gladly accepted his invitation, and we tried to help in some sort of way because we all feel that this is our fight. Actually, here in Portugal, there is a movement called Tech for COVID-19 that the tech companies like ours, like DevScope, do a lot of stuff in order to fight this disease. So we thought with our knowledge what we could do, and they presented us a challenge that the patients with symptoms they would come to the tent. The medical specialist would collect some information like the oxygen saturation, the temperature, the frequency, the respiratory frequency, and other information like symptoms or comorbidities, or if they'll live in a nursing home, because nursing homes tend a lot of old people, and that's the group risk. And depending on that information, it would the medic would have to take a decision to what to do with the patient. So either the patient would go home, or the patient would go to the emergency service, or would take the COVID-19 exam. So, and what they had was a big problem, because day by day the number of COVID-19 patients was increasing, and they were collecting this information by paper, which, as you probably may know, this slows down the process, and it's not so efficient, because in the end of the day, the information gets kept in a drawer, and it's not analyzed in some sort of way. And there was also another problem, is that because as the medic was collecting information, he could decide wrongly on the destination of the patient. So they gave us this workflow, and we thought, okay, this can be done apparently. So we gladly accepted the challenge, and I can share with you what we did. So they had a lot more problems, because they wanted to have a place where they could know the details of the patients. They could easily change the information if by someone, if they wanted to. They wanted to have an app on a tablet somewhere in the tent for all the medics, and they wanted to analyze this information. Of course, they already were using Teams, and then I thought, okay, we can do another good thing here also. So what we did was to we firstly started to do a SharePoint group, and actually they already had a SharePoint group that they were using for other stuff like documents and some sort of stuff. And we thought, okay, let's do here a quick list, a custom list to track all this information. So we've created all the columns. We've created the information around this disease. And also we joined some other custom lists like comorbidities and symptoms that were predefined by them, because they wanted to know what kind of information, what kind of comorbidities and symptoms were associated to the patients. So doing this, we already have some, I don't like to call it a database, but we have a place to store our information, and it's easily edited if they wanted to. Okay, SharePoint already has these features like quick edit, where you can change the information, where you can have some sort of versioning with the information. So these kind of features are good if you already want to have an experience out of the box where you can change the information by yourself. Okay, so after this, what we tried to do, because they wanted to have tablets on the tent, we tried to design a PowerApp. And as let me just minimize this if I can. If they wanted to have PowerApps, we started by doing something, and PowerApps already has these templates where you can start by doing an app. And I recommend all of you guys to try this in your first try, because it's really simple. Okay, it already has some data sources like Excel, like SQL, like SharePoint or others, but you can easily change it. You just have to compromise with the schema. Okay, but in our case, what we wanted to do was to do something really simple, and we chose this one, the service desk. Well, you may ask yourself, this is nothing to do with tracking patients. It's true, but we already have some base to start with the design and the layout of it. So with this in mind, what we came with was this. Okay, so here it's the first screen from the medics, and they can already see some KPIs of the number of patients that are going to exam or home or the emergency service. So with this, they also can see the information about the patient, when what they collected about them, and also, and most important, they can have information about new patient. For example, Rui Romano or Sandro. I can say the number of the medical services here in Portugal. I can have their age. I can have the mobile phone. Okay, if it's the sex, and if it's on a nursing home or not. Also, I can check the comorbidities. I can check more than one if I want to, and the symptoms that the patient has. Then I also can say how much saturation he has, the frequency, and the temperature. Sorry, the temperature. And I also can say another stuff about the patient. And as I'm going to fill this information, the PowerApp is already telling me, okay, according with the information that you provided, this patient must go to the emergency service. Still, we cannot go override the decision of a medic. So he has the ability to change it if he wants it. So if the medic wants to change it, you can say, okay, he's going home, and add the patient to the database. Okay, this is the fun stuff, and probably you can say, okay, this is nothing special, but still, this was a big quick win, because now I can have the information stored here in SharePoint. I can check the information here whenever I want, and also with the help of the team of my colleague Rui Romano, we did a Power BI that connects directly to this SharePoint list and gives us a report that has more information. It can have can track more information in a more visual way. So now we can have in near real time information of what's going on in the tent. So for them, for an hospital, this is vital, and they can come with decisions every day with this information, as you probably may know. So we've done this, and in the end, we also did one thing more. As they were already using Teams, what we did was to centralize this information in their teams. How? So we've created a channel here. Okay, this is an example channel. Okay, we can show the real channel, but still we added some tabs that connect to SharePoint. Okay, I can check the information that is stored on SharePoint here. Okay, so this is the one. And it's opening. Okay, and as they use Teams a lot, it's more useful here, the information. Also, if they wanted to, they also can check the Power App here, okay, instead of the tablet. Okay, and also, and it's going to open. Okay, so we are seeing the same thing here, and then we can also have the Power BI report here that now they can see the information all centralized in one place and do the stuff they need in one place. So all these tools are quite simple to use and can give an extra power to an organization like an hospital. Okay, so as you probably may know, and you can say, okay, this is not rocket science, but that's the big deal here. We can say that we've created, and here you can see the information that we did in the hospital, but we quickly did this on the hospital. So this is some information that quite easily was going on there, and here is a medic collecting information about the patient. Okay, so you may think, okay, again, this is not rocket science, but still, we can now collect information from around 10 people a day to near 50 people a day. We have now more medic doing collection of information. So instead of having 2 or 3 medics at the same time, we can now have 5, 6, 7 doing information. We can also have a central area at the hospital collecting and deciding based on the information that we are having on Power BI. Also, with this information, also the hospital got to decide how to track and monitor patients via SMS. Okay, so these are very quick results, and how long did we took to do it? 2 days. And this is the most important part of it all, because in 2 days we'll deliver the thing that gave results immediately. So that was a moment proud to us, and you can see the power that these kind of tools have for these kind of solutions. Again, not rocket science. Still, we gave lots of results in the end of the day. So I just want to share one more thing with you guys, because there's a lot of controversy with SharePoint being the data repository or not. And again, I agree. I'm not I say if for great volume of information, you should not use SharePoint, of course. Still, for information and quick information, you can use it, because you can customize SharePoint forms with PowerApps also. If you don't know it, you can use SharePoint list of data sources of PowerApps. That's what we did in this app. And also in the end, we can use the Power Automate for approval decisions. So that's a lot of info and features that we can put out of the box to give more power to the user. And as again, this platform uses the same basic stuff like Power BI. SharePoint can use Power BI web parts within it. So if I wanted to put that report inside the SharePoint, I could easily do it. And also, we cannot forget that SharePoint has a lot of features like version history, like syncing information offline, like co-authoring and mobile, etc., that you can explore and use out of the box. So that's something that you cannot do with a SQL database out of the box, for instance. So that's very interesting from the end user perspective, or at least a power user perspective. So I'll leave you guys with my final PowerPoint, where the SharePoint was the master in the old times for the other tools, and now we are having the new kids on the block here to support with SharePoint. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you soon. I pass the word to Sandro.
No, I will make Romano present. Romano, there?
Okay.
Okay. Make me the presenter.
You are the presenter.
Okay, just as a final demo, and to show you one more time the power of all this stuff together, we will do an evaluation form in real time. So I will ask you to just open this, sorry. Okay, I will ask you to just open this URL, tiny URL PBI eval 20. And the idea behind it is to use another tool in the Office and the Power Platform. It's called Microsoft Forms, where you will answer a form that exists in that URL. It will fire a flow that will store the answers from you in a database. It will also send to a Teams broadcast, but it will also send as a real-time update to a dashboard where I can just, that is this one, but that will show in real time the evaluation score. So it's just a final demo, and I will ask you to kindly to just open the URL and answer to the form. And it's very simple to do. So you can build this kind of stuff in a matter of hours, and it's another example of the things that you can do with all these tools and plug it together between each other. Has anyone answered? At least you, Kalejo, please answer.
I will.
Yeah. So it's and just to finish up, the thing that Ricardo said in the end of his demo is the phased pace that to build this stuff is amazing. So I'm sure that if you wanted to build an Android or iOS native application, it will build a much better application. If you wanted to build dashboards to analyze in real time the data, you could use another tool. But I'm pretty sure that you cannot build this high quality stuff integrated with security in a matter of days. The same way that you can use using the Power Platform, Power BI, PowerApps, Power Automate, and then just glue them together. And you can even use a database, a SharePoint list as a database, as a starting point. And you can start very small, and then you can grow very big. But reusing all so the dashboard, the Power BI report could be the same. The Power Automate could evolve to a Logic app. You could evolve the SharePoint list to a data lake or a Azure SQL DB. And when you put all these things together, it's amazing. So, and I'm really excited about all the stuff that we can build and really mark the difference in our customers putting all of this together. So thank you, and it was an amazing experience. I hope to see you soon in another webinar, because right now the on-site presentations are not so common. Sandro.
Well, let me share the screen. Okay, and that's it. Thank you, Roman and Ricardo, to join me on this this session. I brought these two guys with me because they are experts on their field of experience, and I think you have a better overview of all of these technologies. And they are quite simple. All of them are quite simple. I can do easily Power BI or Power Apps by myself, not with the same level of Rui and Calejo, but they are quite simple to do it. But binding all of them together, and like Romano say, binding with SharePoint, Office 365, even extend to Azure, this is quite an amazing platform. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys test it. And I don't know if there is questions.
So sorry, Sandro, it's just Mike jumping in again.
Yep.
So if anybody has any questions, just pop them in the Q&A window, and we'll go through them. Thanks for that, guys. That was a really interesting presentation. So did you guys sort of like just jump in as a team and all kind of work together in, feels a bit like it was like a guerrilla development effort going on here to build that app at the end?
So Calejo is best guy to speak about that, no?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So it's really the app that where you were talking around the case study at the end. It felt like you guys just kind of all just jumped in, hit the ground running, and sort of in a very agile type fashion, where putting together the Power BI and the SharePoint and the Power App stuff all on the fly. It just sounds like a really quite exciting way of working.
Yeah, actually, this was from one day to another that Tiago, the guy from the hospital, put this on our table, and we had to be very agile on the way that we would work. So we knew that they already had Office 365 because the national services for ELF here in Portugal already have Office 365, so they could use it. So we needed to act fast, and we internally in DevScope we use Agile and Scrum as our methodologies, but still this wasn't going to be the way that we usually think about Scrum and Agile. So this had to be quickly done. We knew what they wanted to analyze in terms of information. We knew what they wanted to collect because they already had a workflow designed on a PDF, and we jumped on and we said, okay, let's do this quite easily. And the first version of the app was simply the form. Then we decided to have the rest, like the front page, and then the Power BI. And that this is the kind of power that these tools gives to us. Romano and his team has a good sentence that they use in their projects. They say start small, go big, and that's the kind of way that we like to work nowadays, because we can start very quickly and then we can easily scale up the apps and the reports and whatever.
So it's really like a lot of the development's driven by feedback from the customer, deciding what you're going to do next, kind of thing. It's really quite cool. That we've got a questions just come in from Nino. So Sandra, I'm sure straight away you know exactly what kind of question this is going to be. So Nino,
probably.
Nino says, "Who's the bad guy out of the three of you?"
I have to say that is Nino, but by the three of us, I say Romano is the worst guy. You need to be afraid of him.
Okay, we'll keep watching. We had Carlos who asked a question. He'd like to know, how do you iterate through the different versions of the app when you've got multiple developers? So I guess this is really about, if you're working as a small team, all doing things at the same time, how are you managing that kind of ability to work together? And, you know, as you change the app, you know, sort of tripping over each other, I guess, is really what it's about.
Well, again, Kalejo was the guy on that app, but I have to say that we're very agile. There is no much time to control versions, and we go by the fly. But
no, to answer that, and of course, there's no source code. Like the source code tool that we would like to have in PowerApps. Okay, so what we typically use is some sort of techniques between our developers. We usually have an environment area for each developer, and we use the same version for all of them. And when we want to publish a new version, they all push the information to another environment. These are small techniques because we don't still have that kind of power within PowerApps. Still, there is versioning associated with PowerApps, and that's a good stuff, because sometimes people get stuff wrong, and then we can recover easily this information. Sandro is already showing this with the PowerApps, and we can restore older versions. Still, when we have a lot of developers, we have to use some tricks that we got from experience.
Cool. I'll just see if there's any other questions coming as well. So what bits of the technology did you find kind of got in the way a little bit? I'm guessing when you start kind of wedging Power BI, like the real-time data stream and the flow bit together, I guess there's challenges around if you're changing the data as you learn more and you want to add new fields. Does that cause, does the streaming data set being quite untyped, does that help you, or does the things get in the way?
Well, Rui, answer that, please.
If I understood correctly, you were saying that you were talking about the limitations of the streaming data set in terms of the customization that it gives you?
I think really what I mean was particularly is the bits of the technology that you thought were like hurdles that you had to jump over? You know, so my example was a streaming data set. When you're changing the Power App all the time, does the streaming data set make it hard to add new fields to it, or is that one of the benefits of Power BI maybe?
The streaming data set, you can very easily add new fields into it. You just need to go to the configuration of the streaming data set and just add the new field there. The limitation that it has in the Power BI platform is that you cannot do much more than that. Just adding the fields with the specific types. If you want to, for example, build a measure that will aggregate the data, or have special types of fields like the geographic fields, you cannot do it. Now, because the streaming data set is just to show. It's very useful when you just want to show a number, or you want to just to show a time series and data in a very smooth way. It's if that is enough, you can use it. But if you want to do a little bit more than that, then you need to use the special type of data set, that is the push data set. That also gives you the real-time opportunities, but is not as smooth as the streaming, but it's more customizable. Yeah. But I don't know if that was your question in terms of the streaming.
Yeah. I think it's really just understanding the experience a little bit. I think you know, it really says to me that the fact that you guys know these technologies well has helped you make good decisions to drive the project to be successful, I think. And,
yeah, but in my opinion, you should start. Imagine that you have a requirement that you want to build a dashboard and just show data in real time. You should start with the streaming because it's the most straightforward. And you literally, with no code, with the Power Automate and the Power BI free license, you can create a streaming data set and just push data into it and have a dashboard in the screen showing data in real time. I can just show you a quick example just to finish up of a good example of what you can do with streaming. For example, you can very easily, if you have a call center in your company and you just want to have a splash screen showing the tickets, the call center of your company, you can create a bunch of streaming data sets that will just show for example, in this case, the waiting calls, the total answering calls, the waiting time by operator. And then very easily using, in this case, I'm using PowerShell because it was but I could use a Power Automate to that. But this is a PowerShell with 59 lines of code. And if I run this is getting random data, but the idea would be to go to the call center database and just get the latest values. You can have a dashboard in streaming showing the real-time data that is happening by the moment. And you can build this in a matter of, probably what will take you more time would be in the query over the call center, because to build this in Power BI, it's 1 hour. So, and I don't know if you have other platforms that allows you to do this with very as quickly as this, and one more time, securely, and using the Power BI visualizations out of the box. So this is where you should start. If
I guess it's also seeing the art of what's possible as well means people can see something like that, and you'd be more comfortable about doing, you know, if you're thinking of a project and you go, well, look, here's how much value we can get out of it really quickly, and it convinces you to kind of, you know, invest more heavily in a project to really get it done.
Yeah, of course, you can start like this. It's 1 day of effort to build up all of this and put it in production, and then okay, I want to have more visuals, I want to have more complexity in it. Then you can evolve this to a push data set, or you can evolve this to a Power BI with direct query of the database, but that will take you more time, because when you go that path, you need to use the REST API, or you need to develop your Power BI data model. But you can start here, because and you can have a lot of value with this. I built this at the customer emergency center in Portugal, where we built this dashboard. In 1 day, they were monitoring the answering calls in their call center in 1 day. So of course that we didn't end there. So we evolved it, and now we have Kafka receiving the events. We have data lake. We integrate data in real time. But we started like this. So it's one more time. Start small, go big.
Yeah, I was going to say, it comes back to what you said before. That's really interesting. We've got another question from Ahmed, who asks, in your experience, do non-developer users find PowerApps as easy to use as what you guys do, or you know, do you find that the less experienced developers get up to speed really quickly with them?
Well, it's a learning experience, no? It's no code, low code experience. But at the end, you need to have you need to be familiar with the tool. Oh, that will take a little time, but it's not like you need to understand now how to build a mobile app from the scratch using C# code or something like that. No, you don't. It's an accelerator for creating that apps. You don't need you abstract of a lot of things, but again, you need to be familiar with the tool, and that will take a little of your time. So with the samples, with some material that is available, they produce a lot of materials. You can easily go to that level of creating that kind of apps.
Yeah, there is a learning curve, a small learning curve for non-developers, and still, if you are a developer, you still need that small learning curve, because I say from my experience, and I'm an hardcore C# developer, so from my background, and still there are some concepts that I'm not used to. Still, it's very easy to adapt and with that, because if you are, and most of the users are familiarized with Excel and Excel formulas, and probably most of end users do stuff with Excel that developers don't do. So when they start to build this kind of stuff, they can start to imagine a lot of things that they can do and have the power with it. So of course, with everything, there's always a small learning curve. So that's it.
Brilliant, guys. I think that's pretty much the end of the questions. Huge thanks for presenting tonight, and that was a really interesting topic. And I hope we can maybe persuade you guys to speak again sometime, if that will be okay. I know, Sandro, we've got you in a couple of weeks' time talking about logic apps. Is there any last things you guys would like to say before we wrap the meeting up?
So you have their contact, so annoy them for new sessions. I know Romano have a lot of sessions, and if you hear noise, it's my son that entered the room, so forget that. So if you want to go a little off topic about integration, and I know that we do a lot of in these integration Mondays, they have really cool stuff to show. So yeah,
that'd be really cool. I mean, I'm particularly interested in getting a few more sessions around some of the data platform stuff, and how people who do integration can help, get the data to things like the data platform. So we can definitely do some stuff in that area. But I'll give you guys a shout offline, and we'll check out some opportunities for that. But huge thanks again tonight, guys. So for the audience, we'll have the recording available in a day or two, and people will be able to check that out on the website. Big thanks to Ricardo, Rui, and Sandro tonight, and we'll see you guys all next week for the next Integration Monday. Stay safe, guys. Watch what you're doing over there, and we'll see everybody soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cove.co